Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, so we've all seen the exact same scene a million times. Cars lined up, pumps constantly running, folks rushing in and out grabbing coffees. From the outside looking, it seems like this completely unstoppable cash machine. But what is actually happening behind the scenes? Let's just dive right into it.
Seeing all that nonstop traffic naturally begs the question, is owning a gas station kind of the perfect business? Think about it for a second. You're selling a product that literally almost everyone with a car absolutely needs, and they're forced to keep coming back for it week after week. It looks like an absolute goldmine hiding right there in plain sight on your guaranteed recipe for massive profits, right?
Well, here is the surprising truth that completely shatters that illusion. Most gas stations make surprisingly little profit from the fuel itself. In cases, the profit an owner makes on a single gallon of gasoline is shockingly low. We are talking about just a few cents per gallon. Yeah, you heard that right. Just pennies. When you look up at those massive numbers on those brightly lit signs, you might just assume a huge chunk of that goes straight into the owner's pocket. Incredibly tight.
Think about the last time you dropped, say, 60 pounds to completely fill up your tank. That feels like a massive win for the station owner, doesn't it? They keep a painfully tiny fraction of that cash. The vast majority of that 60 pounds is already totally spoken for. It goes entirely toward paying the suppliers who provided the fuel in the first place, or ever sees any kind of return. It creates this really fascinating paradox where you have this massive gross revenue flowing through the pumps, but incredibly thin actual profits left over at the end of the day.
So where does all that remaining money actually go? Well, just take a look at this absolute avalanche of hidden operating costs. Long before the owner even sees a dime, they've already had to pay a massive bill just for the tanker truck delivery. Then you've got to stack on transportation costs, the credit card processing fees for literally every single time someone tops their card at the pump, employee wages, and the electricity required to keep those bright lights shining all night long. And we haven't even mentioned fuel pump maintenance, insurance, property taxes, security cameras, cleaning, and of course, those totally unexpected repairs. By the time all of those hidden expenses are paid out, those few cents of profit per gallon, they just rapidly vanish right into thin air.
So if gas stations don't actually make much money selling gas, why on earth do so many people invest millions of dollars to own one? Well, the answer lies in a totally brilliant business model that most customers never even notice. Fuel attracts customers, but the convenience store is what actually makes the money. We really need to completely shift how we view the gasoline outside. Fuel isn't the core product driving the business. Fuel is simply a customer acquisition tool. It's basically the bait. It's what gets people onto the property. The true economic engine of the whole operation, it's sitting right there, just behind those glass doors.
When you walk inside, you are immediately surrounded by the real moneymakers. Completely forget the fuel. The profit is in the coffee machines, the cold energy drinks, and that inexplicably expensive windshield washer fluid. Those $3 bags of chips, the slightly stale but oddly tempting hot dogs, and those highly marked up phone chargers sitting right by the register, they generate drastically higher profit margins than the gas out on the forecourt. They are literally the financial lifeblood of the entire operation.
To really visualize this, let's just imagine two totally different types of customers. So customer A pulls up, swipes their card at the pump, buys only fuel and drives away. Then you have customer B. They pull up, start fueling, but then they actually walk inside to buy a coffee, a fresh sandwich, and a bag of chips. The lifetime value of customer B to the business is wildly different and drastically higher than customer A. This is exactly why successful gas station owners don't just sit around measuring how many gallons of fuel they pump. They meticulously track how many people actually turn their cars off, get out, and walk inside the store.
And this is exactly why modern gas stations are designed almost like retail traps. The fuel pumps, they're just step one, the bait, like we talked about. Once you're drawn onto the lot and through those doors, the psychology of retail completely takes over. Every single shelf and product placement is a highly calculated opportunity to increase the value of your visit. It's why you will absolutely always find snacks, drinks, and candy bars strategically placed right near the checkout. They are triggering those extra high-margin impulse purchases right before you pay, ultimately maximizing the profit of every single visitor who walks in.
And the really savvy owners, they don't stop at just the convenience store. They play heavy defense against the incredibly volatile gas market by stacking additional revenue streams right on the property. You can think of them as extra income multipliers. For instance, once it's installed, a single automated car wash can generate excellent profits. Other owners might lease out physical space on their lot to fast food restaurants, recognizable coffee chains, or honestly, even just ATMs. All of these additions serve a super vital purpose. They further reduce the business's dependence on those unpredictable low-margin fuel sales, creating a much more robust and diversified cash flow.
Of course, absolutely none of this works without a steady flow of people, which makes location the ultimate deciding factor in this industry. The difference between success and failure can quite simply be where the concrete is poured. A station situated right beside a busy highway has a massive advantage, right? They're serving thousands of passing vehicles every single day. That is a giant pool of potential convenience store shoppers. On the flip side, a station in a super quiet area might really struggle to attract enough daily customers just to offset those massive overhead costs we discussed earlier. The location truly draws the line between a lucrative gold mine and an absolute financial disaster.
But the industry isn't just standing still. It is actively adapting to the future. As electric vehicles become so much more common on our roads, forward-thinking gas stations are already out there installing EV charging stations. But here is exactly how it ties back to our core thesis. Because charging an EV takes, say, 30 minutes instead of 3, a station absolutely has to have a great convenience store, or they are going to fail. Owners are literally being forced to expand their fresh food options and radically upgrade their stores just to keep customers engaged and spending money while they wait for their vehicles to charge. If they don't, they simply won't survive the transition.
The absolutely crucial point to take away from all of this is that the most successful owners understand exactly what business they are actually in. They aren't just selling gasoline. They are selling the ultimate product, convenience. It's all about speed. It is about offering a quick, unified stop that solves several of a customer's needs all at once. Fuel for the car, caffeine for the tired driver, and a quick meal for the road. That is the true value proposition that keeps the lights on and generates the real profits.
So, is owning a gas station a good business? It absolutely can be, for sure, but only if you understand that the real money doesn't come from every gallon of fuel, but from every single customer who walks through that door. It really makes you realize just how much complexity is hiding behind the storefronts we blindly pass every single day. Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to consider as we wrap up this explainer. If the real profits at a gas station actually come from the candy and the coffee, what other everyday businesses that you use have completely hidden economics just waiting to be uncovered? Keep that in mind next time you make a quick stop.